Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by 10th Man, Refracted Curvature, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good morning, good morning.
Hey, get in there.
Good morning. So I'm going to do a quick plug straight off the bat for all of you who are watching this live, which isn't very many of you, as we've literally only just started, but obviously if you're watching after the fact. I've got a show that's coming out that got made by accident. Not by accident, but or wasn't intended to be made. As I was shutting down yesterday's show, I had a load of people contradicting what we'd discussed on the entirety of the show by regurgitating anti-flat earth rhetoric that contradicts the globe. So I took about an hour to explain to the people doing that they are actually in contravention and contradiction of the globe's claims. So my query was, why are you, people who profess, is that the right word, to being globe believers, disagreeing with the globe? It seems pretty clear that there's plenty of people on the anti-flat earth side of the argument who just don't believe the globe. The globe's got certain claims that it makes, and they don't believe him. That's just as simple as that. They don't believe the claims the globe are making because they disagree with them. So yeah, I took my time out of my day when I should have been uploading stuff, adding an extra hour onto my recording time that I hadn't intended. But that comes out on my second channel, so it'll be released on Saturday. So UK time 9 PM, 2100 hours on Saturday. If you're in the UK, or whatever time, if you're already subscribed to my second channel, the usual time that the Uncut and After show comes out, all that said, it's sporadic whether or not they come out on a Saturday, but it'll be at that time on Saturday this week, if you're watching this live or watching after the fact before Saturday. So be here or be Sphere, and if you're not already, subscribe to my second channel, as that will be exclusively where that gets published. If you're a member, it's already out now, so as soon as it was recorded, it got published. I did send out a link, community post rather, to the members to say, enjoy. Here it is. It's a good discussion. And hello Arwin, good to have you. So yeah, just before I say hello and get into housekeeping, be here or be Sphere on my second channel. There is a link in the info box below this video, so you can go and subscribe, and then you'll get hopefully a notification for when that comes out if you're unaware in your time zone what 9 o'clock in the UK is where you are. But the usual Uncut and After show time if you're subscribed. If you're a member, you can see it now. That's it. Subscribe to my second channel. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge?
Hold on. Can I ask you a question about that before we start housekeeping? So are they called anti-flat earthers because they're against flat earth claims, or are they called anti-flat earthers because they don't accept globe claims?
It's a bit of both. I mean, originally it's because they just don't want us to be in existence, and it was paraphrased as such. They're more than happy to relinquish the globe claims in order to argue against it being flat. Doesn't matter if they're contradicting what the globe's actually specifically claiming, so long as they're arguing with us about what we say is true. Now I'll say that they actually don't believe in the globe either, because what the globe claims they are not agreeing with and they are disagreeing with. So they don't believe in the globe either, it seems.
So what name would there be, since they're going to be like a chameleon changing, color? If they're going to one day say, yeah, I subscribe to the globe claim, but really they don't. What's that name for them? Because they're not with a flat earther to be called an anti-flat earther at that point. But they still disagree with the globe claim. So what's their new name?
I mean, I would still stick with anti-flat earther, because an anti-flat earther doesn't imply that they believe in the globe, does it? They
Well,
might
that's true, yeah.
They just
That's
pretend to be globe believers when they come and argue with flat earthers about how it isn't flat. They'll say that they're believing in the globe.
Except the globe claims that don't vet out.
Well, they're just lying. They don't believe the globe. That's what my point is. And the main reason behind this video getting released on my second channel, subscribe today, is because I want to point out that the people who come and oppose us and argue all day with us, they don't believe in the globe. Now, the reason that they're saying they believe in the globe is because then they have the majority behind them as they reposition what is not a globe claim to challenge us. But they are not globe believers. And I want to stress that from here on forward.
Wouldn't that be true of anyone that goes against any number of the main systems that make up the globe claims?
If you're not going along with the globe claim, from here on forward, I'm going to point that out to you. That you're not a globe believer because you're not believing what the globe peddles. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's right on.
Yeah, and if you're deluded and think that you're here in some righteous manner to defend the globe, again, I'll point out that you're not. You're actually arguing against it and ergo not a globe believer because you don't believe in the globe. The people who argue against us, flat earthers, they don't believe in the globe. They might say they do. They might even come up with arguments that use the word globe in them. But they don't believe in what the globe, the heliocentric model, actually punts.
I think that's the best approach because when they are labeled anti-flat earthers, it's not really showing they don't really believe the globe claims either. But if you point out that, oh, so you don't believe the globe claims either, and you're an anti-flat earther at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So when they come here to say, you're an idiot, you're a flat earther, and then pretend that they believe what the globe has to peddle, I'll start pointing out to them, well, you're not a globe believer, are you? Like I did on yesterday's show that I'm promoting for people to go and subscribe to my second channel. That is an example of them saying, I don't believe what the globe has to say. I mean, I'll trim out one of them, a short, where Extremis is positioning the claim of Coriolis. So my mate on the equator jumps up and down and I see him drift at 1,000 miles an hour, according to the globe. My response, isn't it absurd? Yeah, isn't it nuts how stupid the globe claim is? But you don't believe that, do you? And they don't, because they tell us our stuff doesn't drift, how they assume it to move with a turning Earth. Well, that's not what the globe claims, so they don't believe what the globe claims. That's the bottom line. A repositioning of what they think the globe might do in their pseudo-religion isn't what the globe claims. So again, as I will keep stressing, the anti-flat earthers who oppose us here do not believe in the globe. And moreover, one of the reasons to highlight this to them is that they don't have the majority behind them. Because the majority of the world they think is behind them believes in the globe and therefore doesn't believe what they're arguing against when they tell us things like there isn't any drift. You know, Simon Dan doesn't have the majority of the globe-believing Western world behind him as he might think he has. Because he tells me that the reference frames are ruined when the globe claims 2 of them. So Simon Dan doesn't believe in the globe because the globe peddles drift and 2 reference frames. He doesn't believe in that. He's not a globe believer. Shout out to Sensual Goat. He says, I once asked Michael Barrymore, oh God, where's this going? If the water in his swimming pool, oh God, is level. He said, I can show you, but I'd have to kill you. Is that right? Absolutely terrible. Poor taste, Sensual Goat. Very poor taste. The Americans won't get that reference either. Hopefully neither will YouTube.
Well, it's
Simon Dan. I
Go
just
on,
want to
Arvin.
say something about Simon Dan. Like, he projected his predicament onto the flat earthers, which is a standardized anti-flat earther trait these days. Like, what they do wrong in the face of the globe model, they project onto us. So yeah, now it's our reference frame ruined when he's basically ruining the reference frame.
Right. So Simon Dan is using flat earthers to project his non-globe faith. That's what he's actually doing. So if you were under the misapprehension that Simon Dan believes what the globe peddles, he doesn't. He's made that explicitly clear to me. The reference frames are ruined according to Dan, no drift. So literally Dan doesn't believe in Coriolis effect on a globe. He'll go out of his way to show you examples that don't have drift. So Simon Dan is not a globe believer. That is a fact.
chameleon cosmologist.
If you say so. Right, should we do a bit of housekeeping? Yes, Nathan, we're all really keen.
Let's
Oh,
get
well,
it
that's good to know.
on.
Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
Well, what would Sideman Dan say to this, since he's going to refute the globe claims?
I mean, I could guess that it'd say something like one of the other anti-flat earthers that also don't believe in the globe, akin to nobody claims the horizon is Earth curve, as a good example of an anti-flat earther non-globe believer who's hanging around here claiming to have the Western world globe belief behind him, but is in fact denying the very premise that the horizon's Earth curve, as stated in the curve maths. They will say, nobody's claiming the horizon's Earth curve when we debunk that it is. When we show it isn't Earth curve, they'll tell us no one claims that. They do the whole Western world that's no longer behind you when you say that. Claim the horizon's Earth curve. It just isn't, we debunk it. Doesn't mean that no one claims it, it just means that the Western world isn't behind you anymore and you don't believe what the globe claims anymore, do you?
Well, on that one, it's interesting with the new argument to us.
Hold on, Chocolate. Go ahead, John.
I was going to say with that one, it's interesting because there's one contradiction or the other that you'll have to make to believe you're on a sphere. You'll either have to believe you can get angle from a curved baseline, or you'll have to contradict the celestial sphere model. So it's trouble either way.
Any evidence that you can acquire an elevation angle from a curved baseline?
Can't have elevation
cannot
from
compute.
a curve.
Cannot compute.
No, that's why they draw the tangent plane in all the drawings, because they can't get it from a curved baseline.
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
I'm going to need R for that.
You are going to need that for that.
No.
Any evidence of the R
I'm
value, Earth
nauseous.
radius?
Well, there would have to be noticeable drift, and you just got through saying they deny that.
Yeah, in the show yesterday I was told that there is zero Coriolis on the equator. Very embarrassing when I ask if the stars have stopped moving. Dumbfounded silence is what you get back, and then lies and deceit about how they've just told you that there's zero Coriolis on the equator. But that would obviously mean the stars had stopped in their heliocentric model, wouldn't it? Embarrassing for someone who's trying to argue against the globe claim that there is drift at 15 degrees an hour, when they're trying to argue with me about how there's zero Coriolis on the equator. Really? Stars have stopped, have they? Yeah, how embarrassing for somebody who definitely doesn't have the Western world behind him, because they all believe there's 15 degrees an hour drift, don't they? You don't though, do you, anti-flat earthers? You want to believe that the stuff's moving at the same rate as a turning Earth that's not a heliocentric Earth, because that's got drift at 15 degrees an hour. There's a lot of people who don't believe in the globe these days, isn't there? In fact, almost everyone who opposes us doesn't believe in the globe.
They're all flat earthers in denial.
I wouldn't go that far. They just don't believe in the globe. Should we start listing them off?
Hey,
Yeah? Mr.
Well,
Sensible,
I
you're
like
not
to
a
call
globe
them
believer.
flat earthers in denial, though, because they'll really not like that. So
Who's they? I want to start listing them off.
anti-flat earthers
Right, like Simon Dan and Mr. Sensible.
and Jam Panda. Did you catch that premiere that Tony did yesterday while we were recording?
Made me vomit, Owen.
Well,
It was very tough to sit through.
Nathan, you brought up a good point there. So now we can't divine their motivation, but based on their action, if they're going to deny the globe claims, it's on the areas where the claims cannot be proven, right? Which brings doubt to the whole model of the globe. But they can't relinquish the globe, because to admit that would mean something to them, and they don't want to face that. So they'll say stupid things and hang on to whatever's left of the parchment of the globe, even though they've refuted most of its vital claims that make it a globe model.
But it's paper mache. What could they be hanging on to?
The consequence that it's not an accident.
Shout out to Sensual Goat, who's obviously slightly affected by today's heat here. He says, I once heard Chris Reeve ridiculing flat earthers. I told him to get off his high horse. Sick, very sick. I mean, I really appreciate the support and all, but yeah, I'm going to blame it on the heat here. Thanks for the super chat, Sensual Goat.
Blame what?
No, hey, never mind. You were going to read off with some of these anti-flat earthers, their quotes. What were you going to say about that?
I wasn't. I was just going to point out that these people don't actually believe in the globe, but that's the general theme of the day.
But they do believe in the globe, what's left of what they don't believe in the globe.
Yeah, you can't have it both ways. If you're going to point out that they don't, for instance, claim there's any drift, and will throw up examples that don't have drift in them, then they're showing examples that defies the globe's claim that there is. Well, the globe claims there is, and they say there isn't. There's no two ways about this situation in terms of drift and earth turn. The people who oppose us and say that there isn't any drift and give examples without anything drifting are going against the globe's claim. They don't believe what the globe claims. They're offering contradictory suggestions of what might be occurring. Not the globe's claim of 15 degrees an hour drift caused by Earth rotating underneath an inertial reference frame. That's the claim. But they don't believe that, do they? So, ipso facto, they don't believe in the globe.
Well, there could only be one of two reasons why the stars are moving. Either we're stationary and the stars are moving, or we're moving and the stars are stationary. Or they're both moving.
If Earth was turning beneath them, then we'd have Coriolis deflection. I mean, that's precisely what the globe claims is happening. It just doesn't. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Bunch of
It's
heliocentric
over there.
heretics.
It's really hot.
That's
Well,
the
the
word.
globe
That's the word I've
claims-
been looking for age. They're heretics. I couldn't think of the word, John. I'm glad you're here. That's right. It's heresy. What they're doing, isn't it? What a beautiful word. Thank you, John. That's made my day. Couldn't think of that word
Yes, it
yesterday.
is.
That's what I was fishing
Heret-
for. Heresy.
But the,
Bunch of heretics.
Yeah.
but the globe claim is that the sun is 93 million miles away. That's what the globe claims.
So heresy is what I'll claim the moment I hear something that's in contravention with the globe's actual claims. Oh, what's that you say? Earth and atmosphere move together. Heresy. So no drift. That's heresy. Globe claims 15 degrees an hour drift. Why would you do such heresy against the globe? Don't you believe in the globe? I'll just rub it in that they're not actually globe believers. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
You're gonna need a phenomenon for that.
I'll put the catalog.
What, show steam go up, go down, go boom, boom?
Well, we're going to have to define what the globe claims gravity is first.
It's the uneven distribution of mass causing the bending of a pseudo-Ramonian for space-time.
And what does that do in the natural physical world?
Oh, that's not in the natural physical world, it's pseudo-geometry. I just said that.
That's why I asked, what does that do in the physical world?
And I
That
already
description.
disclaimed it doesn't when I described it as a pseudo for-space geometry.
So it doesn't do anything.
It does something in pseudo for-space. I can describe
But-
it with Einstein's geometry.
Yeah, but description is not physical, actual.
No, that's correct. No, nothing happens in physical reality. No, we can't bend time. No, we can't dilate time. Time's just a concept. Reifying it into a mathematical description method doesn't make it physical either. So having bending space-time in 4D space doesn't mean we exist in 4D space-time. It's just a mathematical description made up by Einstein, known as pseudo-Ramonian for space. Length, breadth, depth, and time.
That
Or
might be one.
it's like a red herring, basically.
Well, no, it's like a pseudo-Riemannian force-based geometry invented by Einstein to describe mathematically something that doesn't occur in physicality. So it took 107 years ago gravity from something that could be described physically with things like Cavendish, but resulted in a violation of natural law because gas doesn't go down 9.8 meters per second, and then turned it into something that's abstract in a place that doesn't exist. Well, 107 years ago, that transposition took place, taking gravity from the physical into the non-physical. Now we have non-physical pseudo-force-based descriptions of what happens in space-time and how it dilates. It doesn't. We haven't got time. Show me time. Now show me it bending or dilating. Oh, what's that? You can't? There isn't such a thing to show me? Yeah, that's because this is nonsense. There is no gravity.
Right, but what I was saying is that Einstein just created a mathematical red herring to the question.
Right.
To bring you into a dead end and then not have a result.
Exactly.
Like,
In so
you don't
doing,
know what gravity is, thanks to him.
Exactly. Took it from the physical, with Newtonian in name only, actually CV boys, Reverend John Michell and Cavendish gravity, away from the physical that you could test and was claimed to be demonstrated with quasi-apparatus, into the mathematical and abstract. So taking it away from anybody ever being able to challenge it in physical terms. Because it isn't physical. And to the layman, you can tell them that and make them seem like they're stupid. When actually what you're saying is, this doesn't really exist. It only exists in my abstract description.
Do you think Einstein was seeing a problem and that's why he did it?
I don't know. I can't divine the
Yeah.
motivation of Einstein.
I do think so. He was like getting involved with the designing of this heliocentrism stuff. He was
Yes, and he
hanging
was
around with
controlled,
those
right?
people. So he's hanging around with those people, so he must have like offered them like, hey, gravity is going to be a problem. You realize that? I can just create this red herring for you so you can bring inquirers onto a dead end. And they let him.
He was
became
controlled.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No, never. Although Alwyn one day feels like mankind will be able to. Right, Alwyn?
What? No, they could technically do it, but they're not going to.
Oh, you think they could do it now?
Yeah, of course. They could. You can do science whenever you like, right?
Moon phases.
There you go. I was going to say to Neil, you need to give him a specific example to tie him down if you're going to try and corner him. You can't just make it vague and open. We'll just run with that easily. But
No, I'm not trying to corner him. He has a dream that one day it'll be done. Can't torture a guy because he has a dream.
Well, you could, but thanks for not doing it.
Thanks for acknowledging that it's just a dream. I thought you'd have a go at him for being so condescending in that regard. Why would that be a dream?
I do not insist on it happening. I'm just saying it's possible. It would be hilarious, but to them and what they do and why they do it, it's pointless.
Right.
That's why they don't.
As example by gravity, why would you need to take something that's claimed to be physically demonstrable, which is violated by natural law, into the abstract mathematical? Well, so that you don't ever have this problem. Far from what, you could potentially conjure. No. They want to remove it from that, not the other way around.
Isn't this an example of qualification and quantification?
Absolutely. Yes, it is.
Yeah, you can quantify things that don't exist, but you can only qualify that which does.
How much gas is consumed by the lamp at the entrance to Narnia, on the other side of the wardrobe, after they've gone through the coats? They go through the bushes, and then they find something called a fawn, which is like a half goat, half person, and a gas lamp. How much gas does that lamp use? Let's calculate how much it would use.
Half a tank.
About the same amount that the Saturn V used to go to the moon.
Right. So if I can calculate how much gas that lamp consumes, I can prove that Narnia is real then. I use this as an example because that's precisely the example I've just had from Discord. I believe it was Neil deGrasse Tyson who made that very example. Qualified how much fuel was burned on the journey to the moon as an example of how it couldn't possibly be fake because he can calculate how much fuel is claimed to be used and needed. And it was the amount used and needed. So he also affirms the consequent. But ultimately speaking, the same as the gas lamp in Narnia, we're going to calculate how much fuel... Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this, but the actual fuel that lamp uses is the gas that emits from the tears of dragons. You have to capture it. It's quite difficult. But that aside, we're just going to qualify how much of it we're going to use.
I don't think Neil deGrasse Tyson said they used the gas. I think he said what they purchased. I could be wrong, though.
Did NASA go to the shop for their fuel, do they?
Purchase? No purchase. They just calculated it. That's all.
Right, there was never a purchase.
All calculated, yeah.
Like now, Neil, can you just get your pen and paper and work out how much gas we're going to be needing for this gas lamp in Narnia?
Because that'll make it real, right?
Well, better still, if I had a correspondent in Narnia that right now happened to call in, and hopefully someone will pick up on this very unsubtle hint that I need a correspondent from Narnia to radio in right about now to tell me that it actually has already been calculated, right? Now over to our Narnia correspondent.
Refracted curvature calling in from Narnia.
Oh, what do you know?
It seems as if Neil's estimation that a half a tank is correct, but it's gauged by the day. So it's a rate of half a tank a day. We've just confirmed that.
Metric or imperial?
Imperial.
1 imperial tank, Neil. You were close. You just weren't specific enough. I mean, you know.
John, you're funny, man. I just heard the show yesterday with E equals MC squared. Einstein married his cousin twice. I was cracking up. I didn't hear that in a live show.
Luke 10:19 says, if this super chat, open brackets P, then Nathan will miss this, open brackets Q. Nathan didn't miss this, open brackets not Q. So therefore this can't be a super chat, therefore not P. Nah, that's not sound logic. Luke 10:19. What is Luke 10:19? Whoever's Bible literate. And yea, he saith
Give
to
me
man,
a second, I'll find out.
and those who dwell upon flat earth debate were deemed righteous by the Lord God. Oh, what an appropriate bit of scripture, Luke. Thanks.
Luke 10:19. Look, I have given you the authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. Nothing at all will harm you.
Nice.
One more time.
Cool.
Look, I have given you the authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. Nothing at all will harm you.
I can buy that. That's how I feel. I often describe picking up their weapons on the battlefield. Right, snakes and scorpions. I like it. Thanks.
You used to sing a song in church like that.
Well, this is when he sent the 72 and they returned with joy, saying, Lord, even the demons submit to us in your name. So everything had to be done in the power of Jesus' name. He said to them, I watched Satan fall from heaven like lightning. And then Luke 19, look, I've given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. Nothing at all will harm you. This is when he sent the 72 out.
Very good, 10th.
I need to. I should really contextualise what I'm about to say. I've just read John's comment from. It's nice having all the stuff laid out on my screen so I can read it. John's written a comment about Danny Falkner. So when we finish this discussion on housekeeping, can we bring that back up? I must trim that out. If we have the conversation, it'll force me to do it over the weekend.
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
Okay. Where were we? Single viable hypothesis.
I'd like to talk about Danny Falkner also.
Okay. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Well, it's a globe claim. I wonder what the anti-flat earthers have to say.
It only exists in an
Probably
artist's
the opposite,
studio.
which is why they're anti-flat earthers.
But chocolate, shouldn't they be anti-globe claimers?
Yeah, that was my stipulation about the naming of them before, but I guess we stuck with anti-flat earthers.
Yeah, I mean, apparently, I think it was Brian that said I came up with that name. I don't know if it actually was me that came up with anti-flat earther, but I don't care. It's just a way of distinguishing them from people who believe in the globe. That is my phraseology now. Distinguishing you from people who believe in the globe, like believe in 15 degrees an hour drift and things like that. You're not that. You're not globe believers.
But wouldn't it stand to reason that if you were a flat earther, you would go against the globe claims? But in this case, they're anti-flat earthers who are going against the globe claims.
Right. It's the difference between making a positive claim and disproving a claim. That's why it's an anti-flat earther.
Shout out to Godzilla37. This is, I don't know, seems to me Luke's logic is sound. With a super chat. Makes perfect sense, Godzilla. That's not a super chat either by that standard, right? Okay. You're just trying to confuse me, lads. It's not going to work. Thank you for the super chat, Godzilla. Really appreciate the support.
So, did we do axial rotation yet?
Yeah, a bit late on the score with that one.
Nah, let's rewind.
Chocolate, I'm presenting your...
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
I'm presenting Chocolate's image right now.
Thank you, Owen.
Oh, this would be screenshotted from Danny Falkner, responding to the claims of Neil Smoking deGrasse Tyson. So I don't know if you want to read it, Erwin, because I'm gonna have to mute in a sec, or Nathan or somebody.
Text a little bit.
Hold on, yeah. I'll read it.
Please.
Right. Danny 57. The Coriolis effect is a very complicated thing. No, it's not. A physics major may see it properly treated in a mechanics class his junior or senior year at the university. However, it is more likely to see it in a graduate level mechanics class. This is where I first saw it. Okay, flat earthers rely upon very simplified explanation and come to improper understanding. Even Tyson's discussion of the field goal reflected this very simplified understanding. These simplified explanations are very incomplete to the point of being incorrect. Wow.
Does he tell us anything?
Hold on, I was about to say.
Does he explain
No,
it?
So we've got a nice long string of well poisoning. Where's the substance?
No, you just don't understand. That's the point.
That was the point. Sorry, that sounded like he was building up to something by poisoning the well. There's no substance at the end to show how and why we're wrong. Telling us that we just see it oversimplistically doesn't tell us how we're wrong and what we've done wrong and how we've defined it wrong. I do understand what the Coriolis effect is, Danny Falkner. It's observation of a not actual deflection as you rotate beneath things. That's what Coriolis is.
Now,
So
it's
wait,
a
I
very
have to go to
complicated
senior
thing,
year?
and you don't understand.
Yeah, definitely do understand. Not actual deflection of a ball, for the sake of argument, tossed over the top of a roundabout. If you're rotating beneath that ball, the ball, which is in fact travelling straight, looks like it's taking a curved path. That's what Coriolis is. It's not complicated, certainly not higher graduate level. A ball seeming to curve because you turn beneath it, yeah, that's fairly simple to understand. That's what Coriolis drift is. The curve you think you're seeing in a ball that travels straight because you rotate on a roundabout beneath it. Earth's claim to do that. The drift described in Coriolis is a not actual deflection, though. It's an illusion. Danny Falkner has very specifically said that Coriolis affects winds. I'm going to tear him a new one for it too, Danny. You complete clown. You haven't got the vaguest idea what Coriolis effect is. You think it's an actual force doing things to wind. And I'm going to demand a retraction for it, Danny. Because Coriolis effect, that would be the illusion of drift where one doesn't actually occur, isn't ever affecting winds, Danny. You're going to need to retract that crap quick sharp. I will be demanding it and hassling you until the day you die if you don't.
Nathan, there's
Can I say something?
Yeah, in a minute. There's a second post that chocolate, but can you show that the second slide?
Yeah, but before you read it, look at what he's saying. He's going to deceive such a large audience just by the way he words it.
That's the most beautiful part, though.
Well, that's what he's doing.
What he's doing is telling us that it's oversimplistic, our understanding of it. Really? Would you call it oversimplistic to describe things that are illusionary, like not actual deflection, known as Coriolis effect, to affect in a physical way wind? I mean, that's simply moronic. Danny Falkner, my name is Nathan Oakley. I am publicly labelling you moronic because you have explicitly stated that Coriolis effect has some influence on wind. At a base fundamental level, you do not understand what Coriolis drift is, because Coriolis drift is a not actual deflection observed as you rotate beneath things. It in absolutely no way, shape or form can affect wind, because it's a not actual drift. Again, I will publicly declare that Danny Falkner is an idiot who, with absolutely no unequivocal way of describing his idiocy, does not understand Coriolis effect. He thinks drift affects wind. No, it doesn't. Danny Falkner's an idiot. He doesn't understand Coriolis effect.
It
Danny
seems so.
Falkner, the globe.
I'm presenting the second picture, by the way.
You want to read it?
All right. Oh, oops. Yeah. If you read what I wrote earlier, you would see that I am not in agreement with Tyson. His statement about the Earth turning under things is part of the simplified discussion of Coriolis effect that has led flat earthers astray on the Coriolis effect.
This guy's a demon. This guy's a liar.
Yeah, but isn't it beautiful that now you have one claimed astrophysicist literally out here debunking the other?
I think he's an astronomer.
Whatever.
I wouldn't call it debunking. He's just denying the globe claim.
Well, denying and agreeing at the same time, because he says, oh, he's just talking about a simplified version of it. Well, if it was just simplified, wouldn't it be the same version of it? It's just simplified. But he's flat out saying that he's wrong. So he's making a simplified version of a wrong statement.
It's only hey chocolate. It's only simplified because it doesn't work unless he says that to make us look bad.
Is that right, Danny? We don't understand it, even by your own citations. Thought Co. Causes of the Coriolis effect. This is a globe reference. The main cause of the Coriolis effect is the Earth's rotation. As the Earth spins in a counterclockwise direction on its axis, anything flying or flowing over a long distance above its surface is deflected. So, according to ThoughtCo, if you're moving over Earth's surface and you're watching that thing on a plane, you'll see it being deflected. That's it drifting away. So if we're observing things being deflected, that's because we are rotating beneath them according to the globe claim. That would shorten flight times. This very specific, detailed description of the causes of the Coriolis effect in reference to a globe have Earth turning beneath items above it, causing deflection. So if Earth's rotating beneath aeroplanes, a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Los Angeles would only take an hour and a half. Because we're watching the plane being deflected, because Earth's claimed to be turning underneath it, Danny. Of course, that does not happen. This isn't our oversimplification of the globe's claim that things are being deflected. because Earth's rotating beneath them. That's very specifically what Coriolis is. You observing deflection because you rotate beneath things. So if Earth's claim to have Coriolis effect, oh yeah, it definitely claims that, then Earth's claim to be rotating beneath things, Danny. That's what it is. Of course, the effect is the deflection that doesn't really occur, i.e. the ball moves straight but only seems to take a curved path. That's Coriolis effect. And that effect, you, Danny Falkner, a moron, thinks can have an actual effect on wind. Because you've very specifically stated that Coriolis effect affects winds. You complete clown. Being humiliated now by mere flat earther. I say again, my name is Flat Earther Nathan Oakley, and I am publicly humiliating Danny Falkner for his idiocy in stating that an illusion affects winds. He's wrong, he's thick, and I am publicly demanding his retraction about that nonsense he doesn't understand. Simultaneously claiming that we're oversimplifying his misunderstandings that illusions affect wind. No, Danny. Let me be the first to tell you, you stupid idiot. Illusions don't affect wind, you complete moron. You're gonna need to retract that. Do you understand me, Danny Falkner? I demand that you retract your error that illusions affect wind. They don't, Danny. You just don't understand Coriolis deflection. The not actual drift observed as you rotate beneath things. That not actual drift isn't going to affect wind, you moron. So chop chop, print your retraction and make damn sure to name the person who demanded it. Nathan Oakley demanded I correct my error about illusions affecting wind. So here's my retraction. I've removed my nonsense I didn't understand. Now I do understand that illusions don't affect wind. Do you understand now, Danny? I'm more than happy to sit down with you and explain it to you like a 4-year-old. The kind of level of people that understand Coriolis. Not higher graduates that think illusions affect wind. That's you. Those people are morons, Danny. And flat earthers humiliate people who assume that illusions affect wind and demand retractions from them with the most disdain they can muster, whilst humiliating the idiots that think illusions affect wind. That's you, Danny Falkner. I hope you're embarrassed with your stupidity. I hope you're embarrassed that a flat earther's correcting you, and I hope you get on with retracting that stupid nonsense that illusions affecting wind. They're not. I'm done.
Isn't this similar
That
to
was
what
exactly what I was expecting. Thank you, Nathan.
Isn't this similar to what the pilot did?
So far, in the last month, we've had 3 people. We've had Wolfie6020, some fake-ass pilot, and now Danny Falkner, all making the error that illusions only observable from the ground have some influence in physicality. Coriolis effect is an illusion. It's not actual deflection that you observe as you spin beneath things. That can't affect wind, like it's not accounted for on planes. Now, last time this happened, Danny Falkner, I demanded Wolfie6020 be fired. That's what I demanded last time when a pilot made this error that you've made. Now, I'm just demanding a retraction from you, you bonehead, because I don't know who to appeal to in terms of authorities that could sack you, like the FIA. Well, Wolfie6020 deserves to be sacked for this exact same error that Danny Falkner has made. Yeah? Now, for all you other crazy idiots that have no real bearing on people's safety, unlike Wolfie6020 and the guy pretending to be a pilot, there's no need to appeal to your authority, because who cares? You're not going to kill anybody with this stupid nonsense that you've got wrong about Coriolis. The illusion that doesn't affect wind, Danny, and doesn't get accounted for in aeroplanes because it can't when it's only observed from the ground. So, Danny, you're just one in a string of idiots from your side who don't understand Coriolis, while you tell us how we've oversimplified it, so I can call you a bonehead and demand retractions. And naming. Yeah, I want my name in your article.
Can I read something? 1 second. Paula says from chat that Falkner has been on McTunes among atheists and evolutionists who mock his faith and young earth creationism just to join them in bashing flat earthers. Oh, great.
Really? Well, get your ass over here, Danny Falkner, because you're going to get a taste of Nathan Oakley's disdain about your stupidity. You are an idiot, Danny Falkner. Just as stupid as Wolfie6020 and the fake pilot who lied about flying. You're just as stupid as them. And I want to personally tell you while I demand a retraction. You're not affecting winds with illusions, Danny Falkner, you crazy buffoon. Get on with it, retract it now. And get over here so I can tell you how stupid you are for your idiocy when it comes to Coriolis, that you definitely don't understand.
Yeah, why doesn't he come here? Why does he go over there? Sorry, Barry.
I'm calling you out, Danny Falkner, as a moron. That's what I'm doing. My name's Nathan Oakley, and I'm calling out a moron named Danny Falkner who definitely doesn't understand Coriolis effect.
I think it'd be interesting to hear what Neil deGrasse Tyson says about Danny Falkner saying he's wrong.
He said that a ball takes a deflection assisted by Earth's rotation. That's Earth turning underneath a football. Does Danny Falkner think that's oversimplified? Because the deflection, the curve in the ball, is an illusion observed from the stands because you turned underneath it, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson. Not oversimplified, Coriolis effect. An illusion that won't affect winds.
Well, I'm just saying that they're both in the same secular positions, professorships, or whatever you want to call it. It's just Neil deGrasse Tyson outranks him. I don't think he would like Danny Falkner saying these things.
Sounds like they need to set up a debate and work that out between themselves before coming at us.
Not before me.
That sounds like.
Not before me. You want to claim we don't understand Coriolis? Well, you haven't spoken to me, Danny Falkner. The guy will be ripping you a new one on account of your idiocy about illusions affecting winds. Can someone post his article so I can put it on screen, precisely what it is we're talking about? Just in case he deletes it before we get to actually document this to my disdain in regards to Danny Falkner's idiocy and lack of understanding.
See, but why go to McToon? Why don't you come here?
Well, Nathan, you're incorrect about Danny Falkner causing people's lives possible danger.
I didn't suggest that. Wolfie6020, not Danny. Oh, you're saying I'm incorrect about not affecting people's lives. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you're incorrect because I'm feeding back on someone now. You're incorrect because Danny Falkner and people like him are the source of this nonsense. So this nonsense is permeated, starting with idiots like Danny Falkner. So he is affecting, or he is a possible danger to people's lives because he is the reason why you have pilots believing this nonsense. Him, not him specifically, but him and what he represents and his PhD and all the other nonsense.
Maybe.
Him and people like him.
Sure. But what I'm not going to be doing is I'm going to have your job. I mean, I'll definitely do that when a pilot doesn't understand not actual deflection and thinks that the plane's accounting for it. That could actually kill people. So I will demand people's jobs like Wolfie6020. If I catch you, Wolfie, I'll be demanding your name publicly. I'll be demanding that you're doxxed. I hope you understand that. You know what his reaction was, Danny Falkner? After I demanded his job and said that I wanted him fired, he gave me money to one of my campaigns. That's what he did. Yeah? They make a video correcting how I shouldn't be trying to dox him publicly, which I am. Rightly so. Just in case anybody tries to hit the YouTube algorithm, I genuinely know that there's safety concerns around Wolfie6020's lack of comprehension when it comes to illusions that he thinks his plane's accounting for. That shit's dangerous. I'm totally justified in demanding him be doxed. I want his name so I can go to his employer and say this pilot thinks that planes are accounting for things drifting from the ground. That's just insane and impossible. Yeah? Why is this pilot doing this? He needs to be fired or he needs to be sectioned. Either way, I want to appeal to his employer and I need to know who he is to do that because I'm concerned for safety. I mean, obviously, if Wolfie6020's employer alleviated my concerns for people's safety as a result of his error when it comes to Coriolis, then so be it. But I'm not going to have those concerns for human life alleviated unless I find out who the hell he is so I can contact his employer to potentially have those concerns alleviated. Until that happens, they're just concerns that there's a guy flying in the sky that might kill people. That's all it is. Now, by contrast, the reason I've described that in terms of Wolfie6020, I don't see a parallel with Danny. He's just thick. Just an idiot with an internet account who can publish stuff that's wrong. that can publish illusions cause winds to change their physicality. No, Danny. No. No, illusions aren't causing anything to happen ever. Not actual drift, my friend. Yeah, unless, like the other idiots, you think the wind's going straight and you're watching it seem to take a curved motion because Earth's turning beneath it. That would be the only example of Coriolis. Or you were in a cyclone watching a tree seem to come towards you and go away, and then seem to come towards you and go away because you're turning in a hurricane. That would be Coriolis effect, involving weather. But the not actual drift observed as you turn beneath things, that's Coriolis effect. That doesn't affect weather, Danny, as you've declared, because you're an idiot.
Well, I would still say that Danny Falkner is the root, him and what he represents is the root of the problem. So Danny Falkner should publicly get into trouble for this ridiculous claim, because he is permeating this rubbish and people are believing it. And you might have someone in a Cessna plane thinking that they should account for Coriolis because they watched one of his videos. Someone who's an amateur pilot, and they smashed into something.
Well, I would like to point out that this is a little bit different than Brian Mullins, as it's a question of authority and subject matter expert. If the subject matter expert is wrong, that means that people like pilots can then take their understandings as read and crash planes. So I don't know if I would say that his job shouldn't be put in danger if he's claiming to be an authority on the subject.
I'll read out Danny Falkner's
Agreed.
statement that we're taking umbrage with and demanding retraction for. Let's just put this on the screen so people can read it nice and clearly. One more second, just bear with me, guys.
Just squidge it over a bit, Nathan. You've got the menu bar and not all the text on YouTube.
What? Don't confuse me.
All right.
Right. What the Coriolis effect directly affects is the prevailing winds at various latitudes. Danny, you are thick and wrong. What the Coriolis effect is an illusion observed as you turn beneath things, and will not and cannot affect prevailing winds. Because it's an illusion observed as you turn beneath things moving straight, or you looking at a lamppost cemented into the ground not moving at all, as you rotate beneath it on a merry-go-round. As you see that light on the lamppost come towards you and then go away, and come towards you and go away. That's the not actual drift of the lamppost, aka Coriolis effect. Now that definitely isn't being affected by you turning beneath it, it's cemented into the ground. And the effect you're describing as Coriolis is an illusion of the light moving. So that illusion isn't going to affect prevailing winds, Danny. You're just incredibly stupid. And equally as stupid as Wolfie 6020, just less life-threateningly stupid. Right, let's do a few super chat shout-outs. Shout out to Retro Bill, who says, if I see a car and a plane both travel west at the same speed, one above the other, they are both travelling backwards, even the car, ? Yeah, you wrapping up some nice Coriolis doublespeak in that question there, Retro Bill. Obviously, it's completely unanswerable. Shout out to Matthew Eastman, who says, Danny Falkner, a biblical and globe heretic. Yeah, absolutely, he's guilty of heresy. He's going against the claim that there's Coriolis deflection observable from the ground. Not only that, he thinks it's an actual effect of force that can have influence on winds. Oh my God, Danny Falkner's so stupid. I mean, literally, the guy's getting humiliated by layman flat earthers. Anyway, thank you very much indeed to Godzilla37, who also super chat saying, support what you like or it goes away. Indeed it does. Nathan, please forward these funds to chocolate. Get lost. Also, shout out to Godzilla.
All right.
Dream on. He says it, just a correction with a super chat for his misspelling in the former super chat. Thank you very much. Also, another super chat from Sensual Goat. Wow, you're smashing the super chats a lot today. Really appreciate the support, Sensual Goat. Thanks to Nathan and all the panel for a fantastic show. Have a great weekend, everyone. Really appreciate the support. Thank you very much indeed, Sensual Goat. And Chris Berry, who's been leaving some really good comments recently about Danny Falkner. I met Falkner. He ran like a scared little girl. Thank you very much for the super chat and all the comments recently, Chris Berry. Really appreciate it. Super chat from Sleeping Warrior. I think you're on the panel. Can't see. I've got a something up in front of it at the moment. PBS claimed that denying science can be discriminatory. Is Danny denying science? That might not be the case, even though they postulate what might be the case in the discussion we had the other day, Anthony. I don't think that's actually the case. I think somebody, Ruhif, has suggested or postulated that that's actually a spoof. Whether or not it is, it doesn't make any difference to the discussion points we had, but there we go. I just don't want you declaring that to be a fact when it might not be.
Hey, Nathan, in the after show, you might want to do this. I just posted in Master B his blog on the Black Swan. So,
no, we'll have to save that for another day.
Real quick, can I just give a shout out to Roger from 24/7, who provided me with the screenshots. And what's funny is he provided me those screenshots as somebody else was in the server also throwing Neil deGrasse Tyson under the bus. Because that's what they do, apparently.
They got no loyalty.
Danny Falkner has this tendency of sitting in 24/7 chat for hours on end, not saying anything, on mute. Just, I don't know, gathering information or whatever he's doing. I don't know why he does that.
He's writing a book.
Yeah, whatever. So... yeah, I mean, come in here and tell us all about your story, man.
Yeah, Danny, come in and tell us about how your illusions affect wind. I need clarity on this absolute nonsense that you're spewing out to your website viewers. I mean, it's beyond stupid, Danny. I mean, really.
Hey, Nathan.
Yeah, hello.
Nathan, could you answer my question that I asked in the super chat?
What was the question?
Not the first bit, the question bit at the end.
PBS claim that denying science can be discriminatory. Is Danny denying science? That's a hard question to answer. Colloquially, yes. What they think science is, he's denying. So by their standards, he's denying science. In reality, what they claim about Coriolis deflection, 15 degrees an hour, turn of the Earth underneath an inertial reference frame to see drift that doesn't really happen but seems to because you're turning beneath stuff, that's not science. So to deny that isn't science denial. Hope that's as...
I agree, but given that PBS state that they're denying the tenets of their science, like evolution and Big Bang, I think they said in their example, if we accept that PBS post is not satire and it's genuine, then it seems that he would be denying the tenet of his science in their narrative.
Okay, yeah.
Because he's denying that there's supposed to be drift.
Yeah, the former, which is to say that in a colloquial sense that they mean it when they say science, if it was real, which it may not be, but doesn't really matter for this hypothetical discussion to take place, then he would be guilty of what they call science denial, because this is part of the fundamental tenets of their faith in the globe. So, yes.
Well, is he denying science, or I mean, he said illusion affects wind. So that's not the globe claim.
That's just being a thicko. You hear me, Danny Falkner, you thicko? That's just being stupid, thinking illusions affect wind. Just fundamentally retarded, that's all that is.
He contradicted himself in his own statement, because if I remember correctly, what you read out was the Coriolis effect affects winds at blah, 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 blah latitude. If it's an effect, then it's an effect of something else. And it can't be a cause then to something. It's either a cause or... So he's claiming an effect and then claiming a cause that caused something that's caused by that effect. Either it's an effect or it's not an effect.
Right. But the effect he's claiming affects winds is an illusion that won't affect winds because it's not really occurring.
I wanted to say something.
But hang on. Sorry, quickly, Alan, 1 second. This is what I wanted to say earlier. What I really wanted to say is, if he's claiming the Coriolis effect is is something that happens involving the solid earth underneath us, then he will be able to video and show us this effect. He will be able to show us this effect involving an aircraft. So I would like Danny Falkner, on behalf of the FED team, I would like Danny Falkner to video the effect that he's claiming involving an aircraft.
Quick shout out before Arwin gets the last word in the live show. So shout out to Retro Bill, who says, if you don't support something and it goes away to the west, it's really standing still. Okay. Go ahead, Arwin.
Right, I just wanted to reference the constant throwing under the bus of Neil deGrasse Tyson from these anti-flat earthers. However, it doesn't really work because they think that there is no Coriolis deviation, but Neil deGrasse Tyson manages to escape basically getting hit by that bus every time because of Coriolis deflection.
Perfect. With that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a member and all that good stuff. And another massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on either premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!
Shout out to Mandela Effect Jason Bardsley, who says, Black Swan, why can we not see further than 1.2 miles of the observer's height? It is because refraction shortens the distance we see. Nah, your refraction needs are, and we debunk that with the Black Swan paradox, known as the Arwinian paradox. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for the super chat. All the same, Mandela Effect Jonathan Bardsley. Really appreciate the support.